Hi everybody, and welcome back to Science GCSE Study Guide. What we're going to be looking at today is learning from the past. So these are different past tests, mark schemes, and examiner reports, and how to use these to help you do well on your GCSE. So the first thing to note is it's very easy to access all of these. I've included the links in the below to access the AQA guides. All I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the physics one. That should open up in a second, and what you're going to see is you're going to see this. So you have past papers and mark schemes. Let's say we're starting with Unit 1. You have the different papers, you have the different mark schemes, and the different examiner's reports. What I recommend you doing for this section and what I'm asking you to do is you're going to pick whether or not you're going to do the higher foundation. Click on that test. Let's go with foundation. And you're going to see one of the past test papers come up. Just complete the entire test to the best of your ability. Actually read over these instructions before you start, because this is one of the things that a lot of students don't do. Understanding that each one of these is important, even the fact that using black ink or black ballpoint pen. What you're going to do, just go through each question, try to identify what type of question it is as we went over in the beginning. For example, this would be a diagram, so you would draw something on this diagram if you needed to. Over here you have multiple choice. This would be another style of multiple choice or recognition. Here are some more multiple style fill in the answers where you still have the answers above. And this would be a maths question. So you have the actual physics equation sheet. You have both of your variables, and all you're going to do is figure out the answer and write it here, including units. As you can see, we have another multiple choice, another multiple choice, another multiple choice. Over here is where we get into the kind of short answer questions. So these require one word, maybe a small explanation about what the answer is. This one specifically is a short answer. You can see that it asks why, asks for a benefit, maths question, and simply go through the entire test. Eventually, you're also going to find a 6-mark question. If we keep scrolling down, this is our 6-mark question. It does have to do with the table, and being able to read tables is extremely important. Same with graphs. A few of the 6-mark questions have involved graphs or charts. Being able to structure this correctly, making sure that your points are listed very clearly before you start. So if the 6 points I'm making involve this, all I'm going to do is I'm going to write the 6 bullet points really briefly up here and then start to answer in full sentences, showing that you actually have the information and you can write well. Once you've finished all of this, what you're going to do is you're just going to go back to this section and look at the mark scheme. So once we go through, you can even read some of these. It helps you kind of understand where the examiners are coming through or where they're getting their ideas from. Once you scroll down to here, this is where the answers actually start. So you can see and understand what the correct answer is and how they're allowed to give you marks. So anything that says ignore means that you cannot actually have that in your answer or it's wrong. Many of these answers, if you note, are just one-word answers. Just like I said before, any of these are very short, very simple. Then we get to the short answer questions where you have to actually put down a complete thought. We go through, you're going to keep seeing things like this, and eventually you get down to the point where we're doing our 6-mark answer. And the 6-mark answer looks something like this. So you're going to get at least 3 to 4 marks pretty much, even if you just have the material and the information written down. But one of the most important things is that you do write it correctly. Before you start, make sure your information is clear, you know what points you're doing, and then you finish writing them down. Okay? Once you've finished looking over the mark scheme and you've marked your test, the next thing I want you to do is go to the examiner's report. The examiner's report actually helps people figure out what went wrong with the questions and how you did compared to everyone else. Did you do as well as most of the other students? Did you get the same questions wrong? There's always a little statement about general as well, which is really interesting to read. Okay, and this explains how different years and different students did, and key problems that happened during that year. It goes over each question and what actually happened. So for the first question, just over a tenth of students did not attempt this question. This is something that I want to make sure you do. So do not be the 10th of students that don't attempt it. At least try to finish every question. You might at least get one of the marks. Leaving it blank will guarantee that you get 0. Okay? Of those that did, few were able to secure both marks. More gained the mark for reflection at the ionosphere. So what you can see is even though some people didn't get both marks, many people did get at least one for trying. Okay? Common incorrect answers didn't reflect the incident ray, or that the ionosphere, or reflected at the normal of ray J. Okay? And you can go through each of these kind of going over whether or not you got the right answer and whether or not other people did the same as you. Was your mistake normal? Was it something abnormal? You can see all of this here and how to actually answer questions successfully. It's really interesting to go over the test you wrote and how that relates to this. Okay? Once you've finished all of that, what I want you to do is come back to the main page and click here to say that you finished one practice test, look at the mark scheme and the examiner's report, and just write a comment about what you've learned from doing this. Thank you, and hope to hear from you soon.